Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. Well, today we're going to have a look at Prince Albert, husband of Queen Victoria. So Queen Victoria became a teenage queen when her uncle, King William IV, died without any children to take over the throne. So everybody thought that Victoria needed to be married, believing that she wasn't strong enough to rule alone. And she was made to remain in the household of her mother, though they didn't get along. So Victoria felt she wasn't ready to be married. She felt she was too young. And it was when she met Albert a second time she had a change of heart. So Queen Victoria was a queen, and Prince Albert wasn't permitted to propose to her. It was up to the monarch. And so she proposed to him October 1839 at Windsor Castle. According to BritainMagazine.telegraph.co.uk, writing in her journal about the proposal, Victoria recalled, "I said to him I thought he must be aware why I wished him to come here, and that it would make me too happy if he would consent to what I wished, to marry me. We embraced each other over and over again, and he was so kind, so affectionate. Oh, to feel I was and am loved by such an angel as Albert." Prince Albert shared the feeling of love for his fiancée in a letter written shortly after their engagement. And when Prince Albert returned to Germany briefly, he had written, "I need not tell you that since we left, all my thoughts have been with you at Windsor, that your image fills my whole soul. Even in my dreams, I never imagined that I should find so much love on earth." Sometimes, well, after they got married, they didn't get along all the time, but that's normal for being married. Queen Victoria could have a temper, but they always got over the arguments and made up with each other, and she would call him her angel and was proud of his achievements. And after they got married, the public didn't like Albert very much. They felt like he was from a small country, and religion was another matter that the public didn't like about him. Wikipedia said that although a member of the Lutheran Evangelical Church, Albert was a Protestant. The non-episcopal nature of his church was considered worrisome. Of greater concern was that some of Albert's family were Roman Catholic. So the family life, Prince Albert loved his family. He and Queen Victoria had 9 kids. According to royal.uk/Prince Albert, he enjoyed festive occasions, and among his contributions to British life was the polarizing of the Christmas tree. It's already introduced to Britain in the 18th century by Queen Charlotte. His accomplishments: Prince Albert received a broad education both from the Florschlitz at the University of Bonn, which he attended in 1837 and 1838. And he showed considerable aptitude in the natural sciences, languages, art, and music, and was to become an accomplished organist, singer, and composer, as well as an amateur painter. Next, he became private secretary for Queen Victoria. He was given full access to the cabinet and other state papers, and from 1841 onwards, he attended audiences which the Queen held with her ministers. He steered the Queen away from her close identification with the Whigs and told her that the crown should be above party. Prince Albert believed in humanitarian and modern reform. He spoke out against slavery and child labor and was instrumental in securing the abolition of dueling between the army officers. And he was determined that his adopted country should be at the forefront of modern science, art appreciation, and art education. And the Queen encouraged Prince Albert and brought about the administration of the royal collection. So there he arranged neglected pictures that should be examined and restored, and most importantly, initiated the great inventory of royal pictures. Prince Albert was also in charge of the Fine Arts Commission as its president. He was responsible for the organization and decoration of the new Palace of Westminster. He also had great success at the Great Exhibition of 1851, and it was a personal triumph for the prince, who had indeed initiated it and presided over the preliminary planning of the event. Well, he seems like a Renaissance man because he was into everything. Next, Prince Albert was also into music. Prince Albert had a feeling for music as well as a knowledge of it. According to royal.ul/Prince Albert, beside private music making, composing, playing the organ, or singing and playing the piano with the Queen, but also in his activities as an enlightened patron of music. Prince Albert was into music, so Prince Albert was kind of a Renaissance man. He had a feeling for music as well as a knowledge of it. And according to royal.ul/Prince Albert, besides private music making, composing, playing the organ, or singing and playing the piano with the Queen, in his activities, he was also an enlightened patron of music. In 1840, he was appointed a director of the concerts at Ancient Music in London and showed a wide-ranging and adventurous taste in selecting music for concerts and those of the Philharmonic Society, at which the conductors included Schubert, Schumann, and Mendelssohn. So Prince Albert was sure busy, and he was also elected Chancellor of the Cambridge University in 1847, and he helped institute both the natural science tripos and the moral science tripos, and he founded the institution which was to become Imperial College in London, the first British university to be dedicated to scientific research. And he was also into the army. Prince Albert set up the Army training camp. He urged the reform of the Army to overcome the inadequacies exposed by the Crimean War, and he also championed a new award for acts of extreme valor, the Victoria Cross. When he died, Prince Albert died of typhoid fever in 1861. He had laid sick in bed for several weeks before he died, and he was only 42 years old. Queen Victoria was brokenhearted. Britain-magazine.telegraph.co.uk stated, she wrote to her eldest daughter, also called Victoria, asking, "How I, who lent on him for all and everything, without whom I did nothing, moved not a finger, arranged not a print or photograph, didn't put on a gown or bonnet if he didn't approve it, shall go on to live, to move, to help myself in difficult moments." And she had statues made of him, and she put mementos of his around the palace, and she spent a lot of time secluded in Windsor Castle or Balmoral in Scotland. Those places were where they had spent many happy times together. For years, Victoria mourned Albert, retreating from public life and wearing black for the remaining 40 years of her life. For many years, Victoria's grief bordered on the obsessive. It said she ordered servants to continue bringing hot water into his room for his morning shave. And after the first year, people were worried about her state of mind and for the country, because she refused to make public appearances except on rare occasions. And she didn't personally appear to open Parliament until the 1866 session, and then only reluctantly. She finally came out of seclusion after her son Edward recovered from a severe illness in 1871. If she hadn't come out of hiding, it could have hurt her reputation as queen. So she realized the public needed to see her, so she began to appear again. So Queen Victoria was forced to find a husband when she suddenly became queen as a teenager. She was reluctant to marry, feeling she was too young, but then she became interested in Albert, and the more time she spent with him, the more she came to love him. She married him, and it was a mutual love. They had 9 kids together, and she relied on him to help her rule the country. Prince Albert was very intelligent and did so many great things to help his adopted country. Albert said, "I'm very happy and contented, but difficulty in filling my place with a proper dignity is that I am only the husband, not the master in the house." But in his duties for the Queen and country, he proved his worth and helped Victoria and the country immensely, so it's no wonder Queen Victoria was upset at his death. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, it would be greatly appreciated. And be sure to click on the notification bell and you'll know when a new video comes out. I hope everybody's been having a good day, and tune in again soon for another episode of Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. Thank you, bye.